call her mad, but it's that hope that one day everything is going to change. And I always say, in this space, in the music space, and I had a taste of this the other day, I'm not even going to lie to you, in the music space, in the business space, just one day your phone rings, you answer the phone, what is on the phone, boom, everything's changed. Just like that. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like this 10 years of pain, and it's just at once become worth it.
Yeah, man, that's what we're doing.
I'm with it.
Man. So
I like it. That's sick though.
No, thank you, man. Much appreciated.
I pray that 1,000th episode is a mad one.
I hope so, man.
I'm even trying to think who is befitting.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know.
It was just Elba for me right now, but it's not the top.
She said Idris Elba because we're watching. Have you watched The Wire?
Nah, bro, I'm so bad with like, bro, I see that Netflix go out my account every month. Do you know what it is? Yeah, my days are so like long, so it's like by the time I get home, I'm just like, bro, it's time to sleep, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
Or like I have something else to do, like when I get home. So
yeah.
Like I can't remember the last time I sat there and watched Netflix, honestly, like, or a series. I'm trying to though.
Yeah,
I'm trying to. I need that time in my life.
I suppose it's time, isn't it? Like,
I mean, I went to the cinema yesterday, so literally on the last day of rehearsal, I was like, guys, nothing on Friday, please. I want to do normal people stuff. Literally, I went to see Creed
3.
Yeah, it's good, man.
I haven't even seen the first couple ones.
I mean, everyone keeps. I'm a Creed fan. Like I really love the film. Everyone keeps asking me like, "Oh, do you have to watch 1 and 2 to understand 3?" I'm like, nah, not really. Like the only thing you need to understand is just where he's at in his life now. Yeah. If you've watched 1 and 2, you don't understand. Right. But it's very self-explanatory. Like even if you haven't watched it. Yeah, and that's good, man.
I saw that it's come out and I was like, it looks alright.
Yeah, proper good film. Yeah, he directed.
Oh, is it?
Did a sick job. I can't lie.
Is that his first? Is that his first directing?
He did a proper sick job.
I didn't even know he directed.
Yeah,
right.
That's how it goes, though, innit? When you become like a big something.
Yeah.
Then it's sometimes it's not even you. Sometimes it'll be the other people. They'll be like, oh, why don't we try? It's like me now. Like I get a lot of like, oh, like let's try like influencing model. I'm just like,
you know, I've noticed a lot of actors, especially the big ones, they move into directing and then move into maybe producing and writing, that kind of thing.
It's like like music producers. After a while, they want to become artists or DJs or you know,
like Kanye,
or artists want to become producers.
But I think it's like that trying to get that ownership in some way.
That, and you know what I honestly think? I think it's just, okay, I'm bored of this. What else can I do? And kill it. Because really and truly, he's making money twice in that now. He's acting in it and he directed it.
Yeah.
So.
Is that why you gone into the property then?
Like it was more a thing of like, I always knew, it's one of them basic things, you know, innit? Like when you make money, buy houses, like, or even if you're not making money, your aim should be buy your house and at least an investment property. So it was more like when I started researching, like, oh, how can I do this thing? When I started seeing how creative of a process it's actually now become and how many like other ways there was to do it from the conventional way, and I was like, oh, like, okay, cool, this is interesting. And I think it came at a interesting time, which was COVID, where I wasn't touring or doing anything. So it's like I had the time to like research and learn, and then bro, loads of trial and error, loads of money lost. But it was like, yeah, it wasn't ever I mean, I've always been business savvy. Like I've always wanted to have businesses and stuff. So before the property, I actually have another business as well. So
what was that? I
still have it today. So it's a music company. So it's called Future Music Services. So we do like musical tuition. We run a studio. It's gone through a bit of a transition now. Like I've never actually said this publicly, so it's first place. But
exclusive.
Literally. Like now it's more like community based as opposed to like a private business. So it's like doing a lot more work with like the council and like government schemes, schools, all of that kind of stuff. So like just stuff like, you know, providing the space to like young, you know, aspiring musicians, giving musical tuition. We do like production in the studio and stuff like that, rent out the studio space, podcast space, all of that kind of stuff as well. So
that's kind of say I never come across that actually. When I was looking into your background, I never come across the
I kind of took my foot off of it a little bit because it was like I was doing, truth be told, it just, everything got overwhelming at a point, and it was like, I was kind of like, okay, what do I want to do with this business in particular? Because that business, I always say that's my baby. Like, that was the first business I ever had, and I was like, it's always going to be a part of me, but it's like, what direction can I now push it in? So, you know, like, I kind of said, it's cool, like, take some time out, like, restructure. Like, obviously I was working on it in the background, so it was like, yeah, just like restructuring, putting like new things into place, like, you know, trying to figure it out from that front. So I feel like probably like second half of the year I'll like relaunch it properly, like, but that was a business I was very active with. Like, we was doing a lot, like, I was spending a lot of time like teaching, but the touring schedule just became crazy. So it's like, the problem I kept falling into was like, I was trying to push it from a place of, I've always learned this thing, like, a business should never be the person, it should be the product or the service. So I was always trying to push trust me, if it's not me, my other guys are good, like, my other tutors are good, like, but everyone's like, no, I want you to teach, I want you. And I'm just like, oh, I don't really have the time to do it.
It's quite interesting, and it's on things become overwhelming. There's no shame in that anymore.
Yeah, of course.
Like, with life and a lot of things happen, man.
It happens.
Left, right, and center,
We're human beings.
Yeah,
like,
it happens, man. Even with this podcast, so it gets
it's intense, man.
Sometimes,
it's
man.
intense.
When
it's
if you're working full time or doing stuff
100%.
outside of it, like, it can get a bit mad.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when you talk about the business, the person not being
that's one thing I never wanted, man. Like, I never wanted that. Because I just feel like that's not sustainable in the long term. Like,
because when you say it, I think of Composers.
Yeah.
And Composers is like the brand in of itself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that one is a bit different though. Like, when it comes to like, it's the same thing in a way, but I think with a brand like that, you have a brand image. Do you get what I mean? So the image is obviously the four of us. Do you get what I'm saying? But you now take away one of us.
It's not the same.
It's technically still the Composers, yes, but it's not the like, you're used to. It's like, let's say, I don't know, Westlife. If a member leaves, like, it's like, oh man, like, where is he? Do you know what I mean? Like, where is he? So it's like, yeah, like, it's very, I feel like with us as well, like, it's been such a, like, you just know what it looks like. So there has been times where, like, I remember there was a time, like, I went on holiday, and then but it was in a period, I took the holiday wisely because I knew it was a period where we didn't have anything, and then something came, and then I was like, guys, like, please, man, let me enjoy my holiday. So I let one of my boys go and do it. But I remember in the comments, oh, that's not Stephen. Like, where's Stephen? And then, like, there was a time where, like, one of our other guys, Biggs, he was involved, like, the comments flooded, where's Biggs? So it's like, they know the brand image. But, like, for me, when it comes to, like, my businesses, I'm like, I want to build businesses that are so, like, robust and so, like, good in what we do that it doesn't really matter who is behind the business. Do you know what I mean? So, like, the property company, when it comes to investors, yes, that business is so good at what they do in providing returns for investors, in what they deliver. Yeah, this is the company to go with. Or, let's be honest, like, we don't know who runs the S&P 500. Like, the average person doesn't know, but everybody knows this is a good one that every year 7-8% returns I'm getting. Do you know what I mean? We know that, but we don't know who's behind it. Do you know what I mean? Half the coins, like, in the crypto phase that was going crazy, that we're throwing coins at, we don't even know who's behind it.
We don't know who started Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, exactly. But it's dominating the world. Do you know what I mean? As the most stable coin. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, when it comes to my business, that's what I want it to be. When it's like me as a brand, like, associated with, you know, the band and, you know, other, like, little brand stuff that I do, like, that's fine. It's almost like, look at Kanye and Yeezy. The minute he said he's not, well, the minute they said
them, lost a lot of money,
ridiculous amount of money.
And they got a lot of dead stock. Actually, they can't shift it.
They can't shift it. It's not the same. But do you know what I mean? Like, right now, if the company or whoever that runs Bitcoin, if they fire their CEO, nothing's going to change. Like, really and truly.
Bitcoin's Bitcoin.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. So that's just how I see it. Like, on that
for real, man.
Yeah.
Let's go down, take it down memory lane. Yeah. Let's talk Composers. Tell me about the first time when maybe you was at a show or something like that where you felt like, all right, cool, we're here now. Like, I've made it, or we've made it.
I think I knew from day one, you know, from the first ever show. Like I knew this thing is special.
How long you been around for?
So we're in our 10-year anniversary right now. So the whole year is like commemorating 10 years of the Composers. So I say the first show because that was, well, technically the second show, but the first booking we ever got. From that day, I knew we was onto something, because there's a video of it online, and I've watched it a few times, and it's like when they announced us, it was a beauty pageant called Miss Ghana, and when they announced us, like people were like, it was almost like, oh yeah, now we have the Composers. Oh, okay. Like it was like, okay, like, but then the maybe one or two people that knew us personally, they're like, go boys, you know the thing, yeah, God. And then I remember my manager told the people that booked us, like, let me say one thing about the Composers, yeah, we believe in ourselves, like so much, like it's mad. Like we had nothing, but we believed we was like the best thing since sliced bread, literally. And my manager went to the people that booked us and said, if this does not pop, if it doesn't bang, I'll give you back the money you paid us. Wow. Like we was that confident. He was like, give it, truth be told, it was like £600. It wasn't anything, but he was literally like, I'll give it back to you. And then they were like, oh no, don't worry guys, like it's a good opportunity for you guys. And like, and I say that show because it went in stages. I think we had a 30-minute performance. They put us in the like intermission of the pageant, and the first 5 minutes was like, who are these guys? 15 minutes. Oh my gosh, this is good. Like they're really good. 20 minutes, whole room, about 1,000 people on their feet going crazy. And I was just like, damn, like this works. Like this works. So from that day, I just knew. And do you know what? One thing about me, like I'm someone that if I start, I'm a big dreamer, like very big. So I almost see the end before it's even started. So I saw the big shows, I saw the big following, I saw the like world stage, like I saw it from then. Like it's the same with like business. Like I can see the £1 million business, the big office, like I can see it, do you know what I mean? So from literally day one, like I just knew. And I'm not saying we're there yet, I'm definitely not saying that. I still feel like we got a long way to go in what we're doing, but I feel like, you know, what we've amassed, like I'm just so grateful to God, like all the time. I'm like, God has really, really, really blessed us with our journey so far, like everything we've been able to do, the people we've rubbed shoulders with. Like sometimes we have a running joke, like we get to certain places and we just look at each other like, well, how did we get here? Like how did we even get into this room? Do you know what I mean? So
I suppose sometimes it might feel surreal, isn't it?
Like, yeah, 100%, man, 100%. Like sometimes the people that walk up to you and say, I know who you are, like I've heard about you guys, it's like, how do you even know? Like where did you see this thing? But you know, they've seen it, do you know what I mean? So it's good, man.
It's interesting if you're listening in as well, like when talking about people that just walk up to you, like before we start recording this thing, I've come outside to meet Stephen outside the studio, and he's talking to some random guy, and I thought you come with him. I was like, no.
I thought I was your boy.
No, I don't know him. He just recognized you on the street,
literally,
like randomly,
literally. And it's beautiful, man. Like sometimes you don't think, you know, what you're doing is. As my boys tell me all the time, they're like, bruv. I have one of my boys, Ben, he's like, bruv, do you know who you are? Like, do you know? I'm like, bro, like, I'm the same Stephen from like school days, bro. Like, ain't nothing changed. They're like, nah, like, you're not that person, man. I'm like, I don't see it like that. But then it's like sometimes, like, you see it, you just get someone walking up to you, you're just like, rah, like, this thing I'm doing, like, it's really getting out there to people, you know?
Actually, I see the Composers as part of culture, like this kind of UK music scene culture. In my opinion, definitely. I feel like you guys have carved out your own lane. Especially like back in the day, because I've known about Composers for time. Mad. I feel like I've known about you lot since secondary school. Maybe I'm getting timelines wrong, but
probably
from when I say early, I've heard about Composer's name, man. One of my boys, Thomas, he put me onto you guys, and from then I've just catch you guys here and there. Whatnot. But I've known about the name for a long time, and when I talk about culture, got like back in the day, you got the Afrobeat type sound wasn't as popular as it is now. But you lot have stayed true to
100%
what you were about
100%
from then until now, and you've carved out your lane. You know what I'm saying? I can't really think of anyone else that really does it the way you guys do it.
Yeah, because I mean, we like, for example, like one of our close people we work with is David O. Our first show with David O was in 2014. You know, that was 2014 where Afrobeats wasn't a thing like that. And till today, we're still playing with him. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, right, that's mad. Like from then till now, like this thing is still going. You know, so I don't like the word pioneers, but I think in our field we're definitely like pioneers of the live band kind of thing, making it cool. Like I feel like we make playing instruments cool. Like you know, before, like, not that it wasn't cool, but I was just like, oh, okay, you play the piano, like, but now it's cool. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, like they make it look so cool, you know. So
you gotta have fun with it as well,
man. That's what it's about.
Last night, me and my missus was watching some of your stuff on some of the Compozers stuff on YouTube. It was like vibes in proper, man. Like, it's good,
just having fun, man. Literally, like it's an indescribable feeling sometimes when you're just on the stage, like you're just having fun, literally.
You know, when you talk about that belief that you guys have had, where does that, especially like if back in the day, I'm guessing that there's going to be a lot of, like, it might have been tough, but probably was tougher because things may not have been coming through the way they come through now. Yeah. Where did that belief come from?
I think, do you know, I feel like the foundation of everything, we're all church boys. Like we all grew up in church. We still go to church, and I feel like there's certain scriptures, like, and it's weird, as I've gotten older, there's certain like Bible scriptures that I read now and I think about it, I'm like, rah, do you know what, like, this is my life without realizing. Do you know what I mean? So like, one is like, seek ye first the kingdom of God. This is in Matthew. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all these things will be added. And it's like, before every show we pray, I'm not doing it on purpose, but naturally I would, if you ask me, oh, what's your secret? Oh, how did you do that? I'll just be like, listen, God's just blessed me. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that honor, that time that I give to God, that we give to God, is the reason why we've been able to get to where we've got to. Because it's like, a lot, I promise you, like, there's never been a plan of, this is going to be like this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, obviously you plan, but more time we plan and then it just changes. There's another scripture, a proverb, it says, commit all your works to the Lord and he will establish your plans. I feel like I'm preaching now, but like, he will establish your plans. So it's like, okay, God, like, I want to do this music thing, I want to do this, make it work. And that's just how it happens. Like, you know, before you know it, you're here for a month touring here, you're playing with this person, you didn't expect this, you didn't expect that, you know. So I feel like that's just where it comes from, like, knowing that that's my foundation. Like, I ain't gonna be left astray. Like, it's gonna happen how it needs to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, in some way, some shape or form, like, it's all gonna pan out and work out. So yeah, I think that's just where it comes from. And I think, do you know what, the belief also comes from, you know, character building as well. Like, when you've gone through certain things and been able to overcome them, you're just like, I'm not fazed by anything else. Like, I'm not, like, I always say, like, cool, we've done this for 10 years, but in the last maybe 2 years, that's probably 2/3 years, that's probably where I've actually felt like, okay, now I'm doing this thing at a professional level, like making a proper living from it. You know, before that, it was just always like, damn, direct debit day, do you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. And it's like, but I always just knew, like, it will work out. Somehow, something will work out. Something will just come from somewhere and it will make sense, which is what always happens. So in that, like, you know, I know God is my foundation. I know I'm a resilient person. I know I have a lot of tenacity. I'm a risk taker. So it's like, regardless of whatever happens, like, I just know it's going to work out. Do you know what I mean? I'm not scared to fail. Like, do you know what I mean? And if I fail, I'll take it on the chin, man. And you learn from it and you just go again.
That's so interesting hearing you talk about, say that you just know that things are going to work out. And it's similar to some stuff I talk about with my missus all the time. And I say to her, like, from early days, I've always said to her, like, no matter where we are right now, no matter how things are going right now, I just know
100%.
and I can't, like,
you can't explain it.
It's hard to attribute where that kind of a belief come from. Maybe for myself, I feel like it's probably just come from my upbringing. And from yourself, like, do you feel like, how important have your parents been? Do you feel it's come from your upbringing, that kind of unwavering belief and confidence?
My dad is, and you know, I always want to, like, I always of late shout out my dad since I've grown, because I just think, especially in our black community, like a lot of people, they're not blessed to have their dads in their life. And even if they do have their dad in their life, their dads aren't there in a way that a father figure should be. Do you know what I mean? So not to say like I'm better than anyone because I got my dad, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's a known fact, like, you know, in our community. And I think just having my dad in my life has been so like important. Like, my mum and my dad have I am literally a product of my mum and my dad. Literally, like, if you see anyone that sees my dad and speaks to my dad, you immediately understand me, like, straight away. And it's like, you know, my dad is another, like, by any means necessary, I'm getting this done. Like, and it's, you know, it's if I even take it away from like careers and stuff and like business and stuff, like just life, like there was one, it was like a light bulb moment. Like, I literally just thought about it. I was like, right, like, my parents came from Ghana with absolutely nothing. Like, they had nothing. And literally, my dad came seeking for a better life for himself. He brought my mum over and they just went through it together. Do you know what I mean? And there was one day, like, I literally just woke up and I was like, do you know what? Yeah. Like, what you've done in life is very crazy. Like, you came to another country, you don't speak the language, you're not from here, you don't have anybody here, you literally figured it out yourself. Till to this point, I was looking at the house we live in. Like, we're not like stupid rich or anything. Like, we're good. Like, but I was like, we live in a very nice house. There's always food on the table. We all have nice things. You've put us all through school. Your oldest kids drive. They got jobs. They're doing their thing. Like, and I was just like, that to me personally, that achievement is more than, like, I made £1 million like from this business, because I'm just like, your setup and my setup is completely different. You started with nothing. You gave me a head start. Do you know what I mean? So in my mind, I'm like, I have to do this for my parents. I have to hit the highest of the highest levels, because it's only right. They gave me a head start. Like, literally, it's almost like me and you are running a race. We're doing a 100-meter relay. I've cleared everybody, given the baton to you, and you just fumbled. It's just like, bro, what did I do all that work for? Do you know what I mean? We're on a team together. Like, I did the work for you so we can celebrate together. So, you know, having my parents there, like, literally my dad and my mum, like, they've installed the hard work in me. They've installed the God factor in me. They've installed the keep your morals, like, wherever you go. They never shut me down, like, when I was trying to do this thing. Like, obviously they had their, like any parent would, like, they had their, like, are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? But it was always like, okay, we trust you. We're going to let you go and do this. So honestly, I don't think I'd be who I am and I'd be where I am today without my parents. So, like, anytime I do get a chance to, like, big up my parents, I always will. Like, they've been so instrumental in my life, definitely.
That's it, man. And you spoke about a little bit earlier on about only in the past 2-3 years or so, that's when you can look and say, all right, I'm a professional doing this full time. And before that, I'm guessing it's been a lot of grinding, probably a lot of setback, probably a lot of disappointment, ups and downs, all of that roller coaster of emotions. I even say downs and ups, like, as opposed to ups and downs. But yeah, no, it's been a roller coaster. It's like you have periods where it's like, what am I doing this for? Like, why am I, for example, I didn't go to university. I've never worked a job. It's just always been music, you know, after college. And it's not that I could have. I had the grades. I was good student. It's just, I wanted to do this thing so bad. And it was like, sometimes there was days where I'm just like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this? Why am I going through this stress? I'm tired and my body's aching. But it's like, honestly, like, even now, like, again, I'm not saying, like, you know, I've made it to where I want to be, but I'm like, I look back at those years and I'm like, that is paying for today. Those years of stress, of literally hard work. Sometimes, you know, like, like, real life, like, we could finish rehearsal sometimes and no one even knows how they're going home secretly. Like,
you gotta walk like a bit of the journey and then get the train and then get the bus. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, obviously we laugh about it now. Like, you know, I'm so happy like we're all where we are now. Like, you know, everyone's pulling up in their cars and, you know, like, and stuff like that. But it's like a couple years ago, like it was tough. Like, but it's like, I feel like when you're in these kind of places and spaces as a creative, as a entrepreneur, whatever it is you're doing, like, if there's no love genuinely for what you do, trust me, like, you're not gonna go. Like, you're not gonna go all the way with it. That's just the reality. Like, it's like a relationship and a marriage. Like, you're married, you don't see eye to eye every day. Your partner can do something and you're just like, should I just kill you right now? Like, you're driving me up the wall. But it's like, the foundation is love. Like, always. Do you know what I mean? That will always be the foundation. And it's the same thing in this side. Like, I do what I do because I love it. You can trust me. You can tell me. You could, like, there was times where like I've been told like, oh nah man, come on man, like, it's from parents, like typically parents, like, you know, friends and people that are close to you, like, oh, like maybe do something else on this. No, I'm sticking this through. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, again, I'll use like the marriage, you know, example. Like, sometimes we hear stories of like a woman is going through so much trauma in her marriage and relationship, and everyone around is like, sis, like, what are you doing there? No, I love him. And you call her mad, but it's that hope that one day everything is going to change. And I always say, in this space, in the music space, and I had a taste of this the other day, I'm not even going to lie to you, in the music space, in the business space, just one day your phone rings, you answer the phone, what is on the phone, boom, everything's changed. Just like that. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like, this 10 years of pain, and it's just at once become worth it. And like, I always say it to like, my mom has this thing she says to me sometimes, like, when are you gonna let me stop working? I'm like, don't worry. It's sooner than you think. It's sooner than you think. Like, one day I'm just gonna come, mum, tell that boss I'm not coming back. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's done. Like, you don't have to wake up no more. You don't have to, and it will happen. Like, that's how, like, I just believe it. Like, it just happens. Like, every artist and business person will always tell you there was one day everything changed, you know. And whether it's, you know, in business, that first day of 100k sales, that first sold out tour, that first brand deal, like, that changed your life. It happens. There's always that day that life changes.
It's like, it just takes that one one phone call, one opportunity, for things to go
so
180.
See me? That's why I answer every phone call. I don't miss. Listen, when I get no caller ID calls, I'm excited. I'm like, this could be someone that is just gonna change the game. Like, you know, like, because you gotta remember, like, even with, like, let's say like your podcast, for example, like, I always say to people, like, when you're doing stuff like this and it's like views orientated, you could get 500 views. To you, you're probably thinking, oh man, 500, man, we wanted 10,000, and then you don't know who's in that 500. YouTube and all these algorithms, they don't show you who is watching. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, of that 500, Bloomberg's marketing, whatever, could be watching and be like, this content is so great, we want to feature this as a regular thing on Bloomberg, we're going to pay for this content. That's it.
Yeah, just take the right person.
That's it.
You know, it reminds me of a story. I've forgotten the guy's name, and I don't want to derail too much. He's an American guy anyway, yeah, and he quit his job, high paying job, quit it, spent all his life savings, start up a YouTube kind of speed dating kind of show or whatever, and he was literally getting 10 views an episode. And his money is going, he's getting drained. But, you know, within those 10 views, you know who was watching? Oprah. And then she hired him, he became co-host of her.
Come on,
and I
man.
set him up.
Like,
10 views.
10.
So you literally
never know. Like, yeah. I know it's flashy, like, it's nice to see the 100, but it ties back into what I'm saying. If you believe in what you're doing and you know what you're doing is good, like, you're not worried about how many. It's quality over quantity. I'd rather have 10 quality people watching that can put me in the right place than 100,000 non-quality watching, like, that are just gonna watch and leave like shady comments. Nah, like, yeah. You know, so like, that's why it's just, they always say that with whatever you're doing, 1% every day, be consistent. You just never know you never know who's gonna share it and whose page is gonna land on, whose explore page is gonna land on. Like we live in a time where like the algorithms are crazy now. Like algorithms are doing people favors. Like I see things sometimes, I'm just like, oh, who's this? Like even till now, like now, you know, there was this was back in 2011, and I won this like drum competition. I feel like I'm an old man compared to the people that are in it, because I was like 14 at the time, and I went to play a gig somewhere. Wasn't with the Composers, and then after like there was two kids. They came up to me, like they were very shy to talk to me, and then I was like, yeah, I know you. You've entered the competition, like you've entered it. And I literally stood there for about 30 minutes, had a chat with them. I was like, look, when I was in there, I did da-da-da-da-da-da. So like, just go in there, do whatever. And I was just like, I walked away from it and I was like, they are probably they probably had no idea that, because they're probably looking at me like, you know, God being so good with what I've managed to achieve, like this is where I want to be at some point. And they probably have no idea that I'm watching them. Do you know what I mean? When I go back to Ghana, like obviously I'm Ghanaian by origin, and I mean, I don't know if they'll watch this, but a big shout out to all those guys, like those musicians. They are some amazing, honestly, like some of the most talented musicians I've ever heard play their instrument from Ghana. And when I go to Ghana, they're obviously like, oh my gosh, like and I'm like, bro, I know you. I am a fan of you. No. I'm like, no. Trust me, like I would love to sit with you and learn from you as well. And it's like the joy that I see, that like it's what I'm saying, like, okay, I don't get as much views as this guy, but somehow he's seen my stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I am seeing your stuff. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the world is crazy now, man. The internet has made everything possible. For all we know, Mark Zuckerberg is watching this podcast right now.
Yeah.
Mark, you're right. You had a drink. You good? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's just with anything, I'm just like, just be consistent with it, man. You never know, like, where it's going to reach, honestly.
With you lot, so before the days of algorithm and things pushing your stuff out there, and you're doing your grind and trying to get yourself out there, how did some of those early opportunities come about? Was it through networking?
Yeah, like, so I feel like we came just as social media began. Like we was on Instagram, you remember like old Instagram, like the blue, like we was like, yeah. So I tell you what's funny, yeah, when we used to do so like a night of the Composers, yeah, obviously now it's very different to what it was then, but I promise you, we would get in the car, again, I don't even know where, sometimes it was like one of our mum's cars. So we're using her petrol that she's bought for the week, and we're driving around London dropping people tickets. Like no Ticketmaster, no Shubs.com, no Live Nation. We are physically going to people. Like it would literally be, text us your address, send us your address on Snapchat. This when Snapchat first came out, send us your address, and we're literally driving to people's houses all across London dropping tickets. That was the grind. Before that, we did a lot of weddings like back in the day, and as we're playing, our manager will be walking around handing flyers to just like, it's like almost like business cards. That's the band, this is their details, handing, literally like emails, phone calls, and you know, trying to just get out there. Like at that time, the only thing we really had was YouTube. Like there was no TikTok, Instagram wasn't what it was, Twitter's not what it was. Literally there was no like all these streaming platforms, nothing. So it was literally word of mouth. That you can't beat that. I always say it, no matter what marketing tactic comes out. If I tell you right now, bro, yeah, this new hair cream is fantastic, bro. Like, look at my hair, bro. You'll be like, yeah, his hair's nice, man. Yeah, let me buy it. Yeah. That's what it was. Like, it was, your wedding was bare lit, but that band I was playing was bare. Who is it? Oh, it's the Composers. Really? Like, do you have a contact for them? I'm getting married soon. And I always said at weddings, you would know this because you're married. At every wedding, there's another couple that's about to get married in that same, maybe one or two in that same year. And let's be honest, everyone's always watching the weddings like, all right, cool, like I'm gonna steal this. So that's what was happening. And then what started happening is we were starting to play. Obviously, you never know who knows who. Some of the guests are now artist managers. people from labels, people, producers, artists themselves. So it's like, once you finish playing, they'll come over like, yo, like, I do so and so, like, let's connect. And that's how we start building, you know, the network of people that we know now. So a lot of the people we know now are like from years ago. Like when they even say where they first saw us, I'm just like, what? Like, that is, I didn't even have a beard at that time. Like, and you know us from then. Like, so yeah, man, that's how we did it, man. It was just gritty hard work, man.
Oh, come a long way for sure.
Long way, bro. Long way.
Where do you see the Composers going?
I feel like now we've just entered the world. I feel like we spent a lot of time, and I'm not mad at it at all. This will always be our foundation, but serving the UK and like regionally, I think we spent a lot of time doing that. And I feel like now we are like building ourselves in new territories. Like we have an America tour. We did an America tour once, but it was very small. But like we have a proper America tour now, like this year, starting in 2 weeks. Well, depending on when this comes out, I might be on it or would have done it already. We have an Australia tour this year. Like, I'm like, again, that's a very like, what am I doing in Australia? You know what I mean? Going to certain places, I feel like it's now that side of things. Like we've paid our dues in this country, we've cemented ourselves in this country, and it's now time to go to the wider world. I feel like, you know, like there's so many. Do you know what? The other day I was saying, am I a musician or am I an entertainer? That's what I was asking myself. I was like, am I a musician or am I an entertainer, or am I both? I entertain with music. So the beauty is that never dies. People always need to be entertained. So like in the near future, I would hope like we're doing stuff like a 1 year residency in Las Vegas, like at the MGM, like we're just there every week, just delivering. I feel like there's a different hemisphere of artists we have not touched that we will touch to work with. You like some of your big A-listers, like they've been passing by in increments, like in small increments where we're rubbing shoulders with them. But I feel like, you know, there's still that side. There's a philanthropy side of the Composers, 100%, that I feel like is going to be a very big thing as well. You know, I feel like with what we've done with live music and with how many, you know, young people and people that just don't have access to the resources and the information and the know-how to be a musician, I feel like we are very, very good, you know, people to do that, to help those people. Yeah, man, and just more fun, man. Like, listen, I like to have fun in life, innit? So I just feel like, you know, there's just now a new stage of what we're about to do now, which is going to be really fun. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing what like it holds, man. I feel like it's going to be magical, honestly.
That's sick, man. And on a personal level, what's your vision or dream for yourself?
Just want to be, I mean, just the greatest version of myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, one thing about me, yeah, and like, not that people tell me it's wrong, but like, I don't really get consumed in what I do. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't walk around like I meet people and then you might not recognize my face straight away, and then maybe like so what's funny, like if I meet people in like the business side, like the property space, for example, and I could be, you know, trying to strike a deal with them or whatever, we can have that conversation, and then maybe like 2 weeks after, hey, quick one, are you part of the Composers? And it's just like, I'm just like, yeah, I am. And it's like, you know, for me, I don't get consumed in all of that. I just honestly, I have this thing I say, if I can just change one person's life, literally, and impact one person positively, I'm cool. Like, literally, I don't care there's a lot of things I've done for people. There's a lot of things I continue to do for people, even when I don't have to. And I don't ask for anything for it in return. I've had people offer me money for stuff. I'm like, nah, man, I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart, because I feel like it'll come back to me in a different way. Do you know what I mean? So I just want to honestly, for myself, be the best version of myself, you know, create a legacy for me, my family. I always have this joke. I want my great grandchildren to know about me. Like, I want their grandparents to say, like, your granddad, like, he did a madness. And that's why you have the opportunities you have now. Like, I look at businesses like, you know, you see a lot of these businesses like Jones and Sons, established 1518. That has carried on from centuries ago because of one I saw there's a pub near the Old Bailey. Not that I wasn't going to court. I was going to just put that out there. I was going to Soho House, which is near there, and I saw it was established in 1519 and it's still there, like modernized. And I was like, they have kept this in the family for, I can't even do the maths, like that's ridiculous, you know what I mean? And I would hope that, you know, my business can continue for that long. Even now, like, it's funny, like I've got a little brother, he's playing drums. Two of the guys in the band have just had kids. Obviously the kids are still like very baby stage, but who knows, they could be the next composers, like, to continue after us. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna get to a point, I'm not gonna want to be running around touring and stuff anymore, but it would be sick to see a new composers, like, even if they're not the composers, like, they could form their own thing, and, you know, we could be their managers, we could be their whatever, and help them, you know. So that's all legacy. Do you know what I mean? That's all legacy, like, right there. So just, if I'm not here, my contribution to the world should live on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's just the best thing anyone can do for themselves.
When you talk about legacy, you're talking about these businesses that have been established in 15 whatever and that kind of thing. I work in finance, and I always come across these family offices, and it's like they've been established in 18 something. Someone's had a lot of money, and they've set up a family office to manage their money, and then up until now, today, the family's still benefiting from that initial pool of money, and they're benefiting until today. The family's good, just based off that, and it's centuries ago. And I say all the time, man, legacy.
And I think that's what, especially in our black communities, man, that's what we really need to start doing. Like, we really need to think about that. Like, I always say, for a lot of us, we're not from here. This is not our country. Like, I'm not going Dr. Umar, but, like, this is not our country. Yes, I'm British born. Yes, I hold a British passport, but I'm from Ghana. That's where I'm from. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of us are first generation of Africans in this country, Caribbeans in this country, and I feel like I was saying, our parents came, gave us the head start. You're not starting from where I started from. You're starting on free education, free school meals, the country will pay for your university. You have all these opportunities around you. You owe it to us for what we went through. Like, honestly, sometimes, like, it sounds crazy, but, like, sometimes look at your parents deeply. Like, if you look at, like, their body, some of the scars they have, if they tell you how they got these things, that you're just like, damn, like, you know, like, literally, like, and it's just like, that's how I see it now. I owe it to my dad and, obviously my dad and my mum now, they're one. Their name, I owe it to them to make their name great. Simple as. Like, that's why I get so mad when I see, like, people like me, like, same situation, just messing around, like, just doing stupid things. I'm just like, bruv, like, nah, I know what your parents probably want for you, and it's not this. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like you're saying, these family offices that are established, we need to do that now. There need to be, like, you know, black family offices that are just mental. Like, I mean, in the property space, like, you know, I deal with investors and stuff like that, and I get people telling me about, like, yeah, family offices, it's always a white man. Always, not that there's anything wrong with that, but we need to learn that as well. Do you know what I mean? And build ourselves, because like I was saying, the people that are benefiting now is someone that did the work years ago, centuries ago, when you weren't even thought of. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking about, I mean, I pray to God that I'm here to at least see my grandchildren. Do you know what I mean? But I'm thinking about them. I'm thinking about them now, that I should put their parent, their dad, their mum in a good position so that they can give to them, and then they can give to theirs, and they can give to theirs, and they can give to theirs, and they can give to theirs. And it's like, that's it. It's beautiful. Like, my business is called Asamoah Property Group. So really and truly, I mean, if I have a son, his last name will be Asamoah. If he has a son, his son's last name will be Asamoah, and so on and so on and so on. But really and truly, it's not me you're going to thank. I'm thanking my dad for what he's done for me, and he's thanking his dad, who's thanking his dad, who's thanking his dad. So it's just that lineage, do you know what I mean, of greatness that we've just built for centuries and centuries and centuries. You know what I mean? It's like Rockefeller. That name lives forever. It lives forever. Like these Zuckerberg, that name will live forever. Jobs, it will always be there. Bezos, it will always be there. Do you know what I mean? So that's just what it is, man. Yeah. Literally
building that generational wealth, man.
That's
like,
it, man.
Look at these rich lists. You come across some people, like you got, like, for example, Walmart, and it was founded by Sam Walton, not even that long ago, like 19 whatever. And in the rich list, his descendants, you got plenty of them in there. I don't even know what all of them do. I don't know how involved they are in the business or not, but a load of them are in that rich list.
Honestly, like half of them aren't. They're just rich by default. Yeah, they come out the womb and immediately their net worth is a couple million.
And they've been set up.
Set up correctly.
Then you manage your money properly. You have your investments. Maybe you got your family office, whatever. And you set up future generations, and you're good.
That's it.
And you're good. Then you can just go live life.
That's what the game's about, man. Yeah. Like, forget the cars, the clothes, the chains, the jewels. Like that's the big flex. Oh, what have you done? Nah, bro. My grandson, I don't even have him yet, but my grandson is really good. My grandson's got more money than you, and you don't even know it. But you know, that's where our minds have to now go. Like
I'm telling people, I see people start tucking in their chains, like,
man, no, but for real, like that
chain ain't nothing, man.
That, honestly, like, think about it. Like, what? Let's say 20, 30 years ago, you could buy houses in London for like 100 grand. Those same houses today are pushing to the millions. Imagine what it's going to be in a couple years' time when you have great grandchildren that can inherit that. You've literally from birth set them up as millionaires. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like like if we read into things deeply, I had to tell my dad, Dad, you know you're a millionaire. You just don't know it yet. You just haven't thought of it that way. Forget what's in your bank account. Think about the house you own. The house you own in Ghana, we built a mad house in Ghana. Just combine those two things alone, the worth of that, you're a millionaire. They're your assets. You're not renting it from anybody. You built one and you bought one. You're a millionaire. Do you get what I mean? But in this day and age, if it's not, he's just pulled up in a Urus with a mad Rolex and the mad chain and the diamonds and it's seen as you're not that kind of person. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that's just where we have to tap into now, like mentally, to know that this is the flex now. Do you know what I mean? That's I say to myself all the time now, before I do anything that seems like a bit of quote flexing, something important has to be done. That's it. I was listening to this guy Terminator the other day. He was talking about his properties. He's like, yeah. When I bought this house, then I bought this car. Then I bought this. I bought a bigger house. Then I bought a bigger car. Then I bought. It makes sense. There's balance. Enjoy your money, 100%. But do the right things first. You know what I mean?
All right, cool, man. Then as we prepare to wrap up, last question: what advice would you give to someone who's trying to drive change, who's trying to be successful in whatever field of industry that they're in?
Be yourself. Be yourself, because there's literally, like, I promise you, with everything in me, there's only one you, and we are all crafted with something in us to give to the world. And it takes time. Not everybody is talented with playing drums, playing football, singing, acting, but we all have something to contribute to the world that can make a change. And I feel like when you focus on that, that's where you can make the change. I don't do what I do to try and be like anybody else. Do you know what I mean? I do what is true to me. Like always, I always want to be true to myself. Like any decisions I make, anything I want to start, it has to be true to me. You know, like there's loads of things that have come my way. I'm just like, it's not really me. Like I don't really want to do this. Like it's not really me. So I think just stay true to yourself, man. Like honestly, be original. It sounds cliche, but humility and character is very important in life. You know, like I had an experience all of 3 days ago. I promise you, no, I don't use this timeline wisely. That was for something I did 10 years ago, and I saw the benefit of it now. The way the person reacted to me, opened their doors for me, didn't even think twice, was because of what I did 10 years ago. So just, you know, keep that character, keep a humble character, keep a good character, and just be you. Literally be original, man, all the time.
That's it, man. Thank you. Thank you for coming down once again.
Thank you for having me, man.
You know, I feel like we could have done a Joe Rogan 4 hour. Because there's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot.
If you look at my notes, I got a lot of stuff. I didn't even, there's a lot of stuff I didn't go into. We didn't even get into your property and everything properly, into other business interests. But
I'll be the 1,000th episode.
Maybe we can bring you back.
I'll be the 1,000th episode.
But thank you for coming down, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Much appreciated, man. If just to wrap up, if anyone wants to keep up to date with yourself, what you're working on, Compozers, your business, how can they best do
I'm everywhere, man. I'm, you know, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, everything. So social media. Okay, now you have to categorize. Is LinkedIn social media?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess so. It's professional social media, but everything is my name, Stephen Asamoah-Duah on Instagram, Twitter. It's Stephen Asamoah-D. So that's Stephen with a PH. And then, yeah, everywhere else, literally, if you just type my name, I'm sure you come across me. The Compozers, COMPOZ, Compozers with a Z, ERS. So yeah, keep up to date with everything, man. There's a lot happening daily, literally daily. So yeah, be a part of it, man.
All right, nice one, man.
Wicked,
so thank you for coming down once again.
Bro.
Much appreciated,
All
my
good,
bro.
man.
And that's that, man. If you're listening in, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. It helps us with getting these voices out there, amplifying these inspirational people getting the podcast, man. So subscribe, like, share, and all of that kind of stuff, man. It helps a lot. But that's that, man. Thank you for coming down.
Good, my brother.
Thank you. This is 1000 Voices. We had Stephen Asamoah-Duah of the Composers and Business Entrepreneur. And for now, people, we're out.
Sweet.